Hello, I'm Audrey.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and welcome back to our series, Pass the Plate.
Today, we've asked one of our friends, senior Alexis Dorf, to share one of her family recipes.
We will be making her great-grandmother's fruit-glazed sponge cake.
Set your oven to 350 degrees. Grease and dust the pan with flour at the bottom, and do not grease the sides of the pan. This is a vanilla sponge cake with a fruit glaze on the top. It's a very light pastry that my great-grandmother used to make. Separate your 6 eggs. Beat your egg whites. Add salt. And add in your sugar 1 spoon at a time until the whites are stiff. My great-grandma always liked to have the sugar quantities, so she'll always have an 1/8 cup or a 1/16 cup. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. A teaspoon of lemon rind. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 cup of sifted all-purpose flour. My great-grandma used to make this for us when it was a holiday and the family was coming together. So like a Mother's Day or a Father's Day or a holiday. We normally just eat it just as a pastry, like as a dessert. And it will always be with some other desserts that would be out, so like maybe a platter of cookies or something. But this is always the most special dish because she would make it with so much love. Everyone always knew that when she was coming, she would bring a blueberry sponge cake or tarts. So this is one of her pastry dishes that she passed down. No one has really made them since she passed, but they hold a special place in my heart. My great-grandma also has a fruit glaze that you can add on top of your sponge cake. Use any fruit that you have in your house. It can be frozen, fresh, or canned. In her recipe, she normally uses berries, but you can use whatever fruit you want. On a pan on a stovetop, add in 1/2 cup of sugar, a tablespoon of cornstarch, a 1/2 cup of fruit juice. Boil your sugar for 5 minutes and stir constantly. If you don't stir constantly, the sugar will burn. And a teaspoon of lemon juice. My great-grandma used to take recipes that she had found either in a cookbook or that were passed down, and she would always change them a little to meet her own taste or likings. So one thing she always did was she would always cut sugar quantities in half. She never liked anything to be too sweet, so she would add fruit or something else to substitute, and that was always something that she taught me to do. All of her baked goods were very light and a hint of summer in all of them. They always had some sort of fruit, and they're always vanilla. They never were too sweet, so they never gave you a headache, were too sugary, but they were just so good. It's definitely moist, it's light, and I think there's a good balance with the fruit because the fruit glaze makes it a little bit sweeter. She'd find ways to add things to her cakes to make it more sweet if it needed to be. I made the blueberry sponge cake with my great-grandma when I was younger, I want to say about 10 or 11. I went to her apartment and she lived in the Bronx, and I would always mix the ingredients and she would put everything else together, and she would always let me lick the spoon. When she passed, she gave my mom her apartment, they were sorting through all of her things, and one of the things my mom really was very intent on keeping was her recipe box. Her recipe box was found in her apartment after she passed, and my mom and her sisters took it, and my mom is planning on making a cookbook for my family. She's a graphic designer, with all of her recipes so that they can be passed down. Something that is interesting to know is my great-grandma lived until she was 103. She certainly didn't die of anything but old age. She's just such an amazing woman and a great role model.